What's up, guys and girls? I have a demo for a personal saber today. I have been wanting to do this for quite a while. I just had to find the right timing to do it. I made a previous unboxing for this particular saber. This is the condemned Starkiller from my buddy Sean. I can't even say he's from SP Props because he used to own SP, but then he sold it. This was a one last personal saber run that he did. He offered it to a very limited amount of his friends. Each one is customized and personalized to each person that was on the run. This was a gift from Sean that I'll mention later. There's a lot of things that I say in this part that I mention in the next part because I record them separately and can never remember what I say. But each one of these has been engraved on the inside to the particular person that they belong to, and it says what number the saber is. This is actually the artist proof number 3. I installed this with a brass chassis from my buddy Tim over at Tierfon Orbital. Anybody who is aware of Tim over at Tierfon knows that that's kind of what he specializes in. So very, very cool brass chassis from Tim. He designed this a couple years ago when Sean was first thinking about doing the run. Unbeknownst to me, Tim ordered an extra one for me when he ordered one for himself and sent it to me as a gift, which was a super cool gesture. So thank you very much, Tim. That is what is inside of this. I did it yesterday during the 4th of July. Was very excited to see it all fired up. I really want to go over it in detail. So per usual, we're going to go over my tabletop here. Somebody told me a long time ago on one of my YouTube videos that I had very low quality saber content because I didn't have a table. So now I have a table. All right, we're going to go over it, look at this thing in detail, fire it up. I'll show you everything about it, and then we will be on our way. All right, thanks for watching. All right, guys. I had done an unboxing video of this saber when I first got it from my good friend Sean over at what used to be SP Sabers. And it was empty at the time, but now I've had a chance to install it, so I wanted to do one more breakdown video of it fully installed. So I used my buddy Tim over at Tierfon Orbital made a beautiful brass hybrid chassis for this. He gifted me that chassis. I didn't even know that he bought me one, but he had purchased one for me and sent it to me as a gift. I thought that was super cool. And of course I used that. It came with the crystal chamber add-on as well. I really like how he did that. So he's got chamber fins in there, but integrated into the chamber fins are 2 pieces that hug the crystal like that. They're thin enough to where you could bend them depending on the size of the crystal and make sure it wraps around there. Very, very cool. I chose to not weather the chassis because there is some weathering on this guy, some heat staining, but you know, it's got a clean, elegant look as well. So I wanted the chassis this time to be clean. I do have a lot of installs in my collection with weathered chassis, so I wanted a little something different. So that's what we've got there, real quartz crystal. This is the blade plug. We're gonna go ahead and take that out. So we'll just unscrew this guy real quick. Blade plug made out of titanium, made to emulate the ring that would be right here on a standard Starkiller. All right, when you take that off, you got that little grub screw right there. We'll just loosen it up a little bit and take this off. What Sean did for the people that were on his run, inside of this saber, about right here, it'll say the person's name and the number on the run of the hilt that it was. So mine says Jeremy Puckett. Here I have AP03, so mine is the artist proof number 3. He made 3 artist proofs before he did the run, so I've got the artist proof number 3. And then over here on the inside of the shroud it says Sean Patterson. Very cool. Just some little Easter eggs that you'll find when you're actually installing this guy. But taking the blade plug out, this is made out of titanium and it's been heat stained by Sean. Very nice, very cool. It does have some shine through there. We've got a KR Sabers lit PCB there. Now I did make a custom PCB holder to go inside of this brass piece right here because this brass piece on top is hollow. My customized PCB holder goes in there. It holds the blade connector on top, and then on the bottom it has a single pixel that lights down here. There is a hole on the back end of this guy for wire passage. I chose not to use that, but I used it. I didn't use it for wires, but I instead used it for shine through so that I could get a little bit of light shining down in the back of the chamber there, as well as coming through this hole right here. So you'll see that here in a second. I did a broken circuitry look with that particular pixel when the Saber is on. It doesn't do anything when the Saber's off. Coming over here, the floating control box was a very, very cool touch from Sean. It was a solid piece though, so what I did was I took this off, put it on my mill. I milled the underside, just 2 small squares, and then drilled some holes right here on the top to fit 5mm high brass tactile switches. They don't stick up very high because I didn't mill very deep into this, just enough. And I JB welded these switches in there actually. All right, so they're very solid now. Spent some time yesterday getting those mounted up. Coming over here, all of these do come off. You could slide this off. You see the crystal chamber here. All of these slide off. This one in particular though, when you slide it off, we'll leave it off for now, gives you access to Tim's crystal chamber that he designed, and he also designed a little door, which is really cool. So you can flip that door open, see the real quartz crystal inside. It's got a little magnet right there. You can flip it back closed, and it's very sturdy. Such a cool chassis to complement the Saber. We're going to take the handle off here. And this is the brass chassis from Tim, right? So we've got that door right here that you saw before I took the handle off. Real quartz crystal up here. This is the battery cover. We took this battery cover off. That exposes the 18350. This is the flat top battery. Snaps on very tough. We've got some nice brass greeblies over here. 28mm smoke goes outpost dark side. We've got our Proffie V3 right here. It has a nice little slide shelf that Tim incorporated into this. A kill switch right there in front of the board. And right here, so right here I did a little something different. Tim likes to use square LEDs, and I do have some from our convergence run, but I wanted to do something a little bit different here. So instead of using some square LEDs, I put a 4-pixel accent strip behind there, and you'll see that light up here in a second. But look at the detail in the crystal chamber. Super cool detail in the battery cover. Everything about this from head to toe. I feel very fortunate. Everything here was a gift to me. Sean gifted me the Saber. Tim gifted me the chassis. I've had this for a little while. I had to find the right time to sit down and do this. I did it just yesterday, the 4th of July. Okay, if we flip this on, turn this light off. So you can see my 4-pixel accent strip right here, right? These 2 crystals are doing a little something different. I've got this one pulsing, or pulsing on and off. This one's more of a heartbeat. So we turn it on. This ramps up. These 2 go to matching the blade, but this is where you can see that broken circuitry effect. So it will flicker on and off. And of course, when it flickers on, you can see it in the back of the chamber there, and then it also shines down onto the crystal and gives it a little bit more of a visual effect. I chose to go with a green here because I don't typically do green. I'm always doing red. I just wanted to do a little something different. All right, so we put that on there. Screw this down. Line up that bar. This bar should be in line with the crystal chamber. I've got a good visual of the secondary chamber, right? Go ahead and put this back on. I really like the added pieces that Sean put onto the handle here. You've got this copper strip. You've got this titanium piece. These bars are really cool how he designed them. This is titanium over here, and it's been heat stained. These are steel. These had to be steel, so they were magnetic. Main chamber. Some additional shine through right here, which I thought was super cool. You can, of course, take any of these panels off. They all slide off. They're all on magnets, so you get a 360-degree view of that crystal chamber. You can take these off. You can put them however you like, whatever orientation you like. So if you want this slot in a different place, you could definitely do that. But this is how I wanted my setup. All right, so this saber is designed for a 7/8 inch blade. We'll put our blade in here. We'll lock her down. Then we can take this greebly and screw it back on. All right. Power back here. Up here, rather. Saber is very loud. Auxiliary back here. Blade lock out. Coda for my dude Keenan over at KSIF. So my buddy Keenan made this sound font, of course, for my Coda run, and I wanted to use it on this saber. Four sounds. Turn it off and take the blade out of here. These are copper. So we got all kinds of precious metals on this. I mean, copper, brass, steel, titanium, aluminum. This is a titanium Damascus. I think that's called Damascus, actually. Damascus. We'll put that, when you put the blade plug in, you kind of want to like line this up with the bunny ears, right? Because it's made to like mimic that ring. So if you're right there, you should be good. Coming over here, lock it down. If you do that, it just gives it the full effect. Like you could, of course, take this and push it all the way down, lock it in. But if you do this, it gives it that nice little thin, like that thin emitter effect. Wasp waist too. So cool, man. Put this greebly back on. Screw that all the way down. We'll just kind of turn it off here. So, power. Kill switch. And it kills power. Such a beautiful saber. Really wanted to take the time to really thank Sean for sending this my way. That's a super huge deal, and I do really appreciate it. Also take the time to thank my buddy Tim for designing the chassis, and then also for just buying one for me and sending it to me as a gift. Tim, that was super cool. It goes perfect with this saber. It's really an honor to have this in my collection from two friends. All right, so guys, thanks for watching. That is my condemned Starkiller.